Hey, of all those abilities to sit on my lap.
Sounded like Jeff Goldblum there for a second. To even think that you can fit this many people in one room, now that is the essence of casting. Imperfections in, I don't want imperfections out. It's on the side. Yeah, no, I'll take a look. Here we are sitting here at the table on top of ourselves. That's Yes, who here is ready for Goldblum Ragnarok? Save Asgard, save the world. We should say where we got that. Like my Jeff Goldblum impression, I owe everything to Ego Raptor. He taught me how to do it. He used to do it. We were at a con early on. What was that? We were in Florida somewhere. Yeah, and we were just all hanging out in the green room, and he was just talking about Goldblum, and his Goldblum impression was very simple, but I had never known this about him. He just goes insert and but and in between everything, and just he kept doing this sentence after sentence until he eventually whittled it down to but.
Yeah, we thought Roz was pretty good, then we heard his, it's like, oh shit, now he's giving us lessons.
All my best Goldblum stuff came from him, so I'm very grateful.
From you, okay? I learned by watching.
I'm watching you.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get this started here. This is a panel called Movies Everybody Disagrees With You On, and even though we got a lot of us up here, this is very much gonna be about you guys. This is talking about films that
We're for watching you.
Yes, films that either you love, everybody else hates, or you hate and everybody else loves. And it's something that you find out all art, movies, everything are subjective, so you kind of figure out that there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer. It's like, I like this film. You're wrong! You really can't be.
But you are.
You obviously have milk the internet,
but anti-internet. The show.
This is why the panel exists!
I'm right, you're wrong.
You're right, he's left. It's one of those things where you kind of, what I like is when you disagree with someone on a movie or anything, you ask why. You don't try to force your opinion, you ask why it is. And if the person explains it well, you can find out a lot about that person. You can sort of figure out these different points of view and maybe an angle that you never thought about. And maybe you can even, keep your point of view, but be like, but I understand yours, or maybe your point of view can change, too. There's actually been a couple movies that have been explained to me in a different way that I'm like, I didn't know that. That's really fascinating. So before we open it up to you guys, we're just going to go down the line here and introduce who we are. Most of you know, but we're still going to go down anyway, starting with Andre.
Hi, I'm Andre from the YouTube channel Black Nerd Comedy. Thanks for having me here. I talk about movies. I talk a lot about movies on my channel, a lot of reviews on my channel. You get interesting comments in there. So yes, I love to have this discussion. And I might throw in some cartoons in there as well.
Yeah. I'm Rob.
It's Santa Christ!
I'm Doug Walker. I work with Rob on a show called Nostalgia Critic, and we have a...
He's my co-star.
And I said this last yesterday, but anyone's first question, no, I'm not dying. We have a channel called channelawesome.com and a YouTube channel, and do all sorts of talks about movies and reviews and stuff like that. And to my right is...
I am Barney. I'm Doug and Rob's father, and I enjoy working with them, and I treat them real nice so they don't put me in that hole I saw in 60 Minutes.
We're his co-stars.
We got a secret surprise for you, Barney, just today.
I'm Jim J-Raz, and I work at Channel Awesome, building cool stuff for them whenever they need.
Woo!
Even when we don't, we never asked for a thermonuclear device.
Okay, and usually the way I like to start this off is usually one or two people, but seeing how we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people up here, I will go ahead and have one of you guys do. Any of you have a movie that everyone's disagreed with you on. You love, everybody else hates, you hate, everybody else loves. Any film like that between you guys?
Well, I think for me, sometimes a movie that is bad also ends up being a movie I love. So, for example, I'm real hardcore about adaptations, and this is probably one of the worst adaptations from source material to movie. But I'm sorry, I will watch the Super Mario Bros. Movie any because it's a fascination of just, you had so much material to go with, and you completely ignored all of it. To basically create something you probably already had as an idea before. There's something charming about how wrong it is, and I'm like, oh, this is sweet how messed up you are. I don't want to watch it. I don't know why. But I see now on the internet, people are like, oh, that movie, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm sorry, I got the DVD. I'll wait for the Blu-ray.
I will forever to my dying day say that Batman Returns is the undisputed greatest Batman.
Yes! Woo!
This movie's garbage. I'm like, yes, it's delicious garbage.
Let's see, for me, one I like that people really get on my case about, and it's not like I can't understand why, but I like it as much as the other ones for the most part. I actually have a soft spot for X-Men 3. Wrong.
Thank you, Donald Trump.
I'm not saying it's a good movie, but this is coming from a guy that thinks maybe out of all the X-Men movies, there's like 2 legit good ones. Like
First Class and First Class.
First Class and Logan, I think are the only ones where I'm like, well, those were legit, like, this is a good movie, The others are like, okay, I like it because I like X-Men. But for X-Men 3, I thought, like, okay, well, they're like the Harry Potter movies. They're taking forever to get going, and nothing much is going. And then 3 is just like, all this stuff happens, and Kelsey Grammer is Beast. I thought it was an interesting dilemma, and I thought there's actual action where they're actually stabbing people and throwing people, and there's the Juggernaut bitch, and stuff like that. And it got rid of all the people I didn't care about. I didn't care about Cyclops. I didn't care really much about Xavier and stuff. So it's all this stuff where I'm like, as a selfish X-Men fan, I'm like, okay, at the time, this is the closest I got to an X-Men movie. But I will admit, it's not a good movie. But yeah, so I'm one of the few that actually enjoys it.
I do want to point out one interesting irony. What you think is one of 2 great X-Men movies doesn't even have X-Men in the title.
Oh, Logan, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I hate X-Men 3. They kill off all the characters, including Patrick Stewart, and all the mutants are gone. Yeah, it's like, didn't Logan do the same thing? Yeah, but I do.
It was awesome.
How about you?
When I go to see movies, especially things from DC or Marvel Universe, I basically go with Rob and Doug because we have to take a look at it for reviews and so on. And because I know nothing about it, I tend to come out and I turn to them and I say, did I like that movie? And they go, yes or no.
No, you don't.
However, there was one that we saw, and I said, I like that, and they disagreed with me, so I knew it must really be great. It's my guilty pleasure, it's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
How about you, Jim?
For me, it's I've always said this one, and I used to get a lot of crap for it from all my friends. But Predator 2, I think, is the superior Predator movie. Really?
Oh.
I didn't know.
Oh my God, love that reaction! Like, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, X-Men 3, Super Mario Brothers, Batman Returns, Predator 2. Oh, I don't know. All the others got blood out. This one's just fact.
Did you hear the person that clapped accidentally?
I actually never saw it. What did you like about it?
I thought it was a completely different. It wasn't the same movie over again. They took it instead of out of the jungle, it was in like an urban setting. They put it in oddly in like a very recent future. At the time, it was like 1994.
No future.
Yeah.
The future.
Awesome leading man, and it introduced the idea of the alien predator universe. So and that was as good as it ever got.
Yeah,
it was
that is
just
true,
a skull on the wall, but that was so cool as seeing that in the theater for the first time.
Cool,
You
awesome.
think you know a guy.
I don't want Jim to feel bad, so can you give him a little pathetic applause?
That was literally a little bit.
I love the ones that just went sarcastic.
Fingers slow, just like.
now we're going to open it up to you guys. If you have a movie everyone disagrees with you on, go ahead, raise your hand. We're going to hear what that movie is and why you like it or why you dislike it. So let's see. Let's do, what is that, Game of Thrones? Is that what it is?
No, this is my large character. This is from The Witcher.
Cool.
The one, I guess, franchise that a lot of people disagree with me on would have to be Underworld, and that, yes, I can see why they don't
okay.
like it. It's more or less a dumb action movie and a vehicle for Kate Beckinsale's butt. Which is
hello.
By trying to use just enough scientific terms to justify the existence of these immortal creatures, giving them sort of a backstory, a reason for this fighting, and actually giving them a common ancestry, I feel like it deserves a lot of credit for world building that it just never seems to get.
Okay, I've never seen it, but you like the details that they put in.
Yeah,
they try to make it a real world, and they try to explain a lot of stuff, and it feels more livable.
Right, but they don't go overbearing on the explanation. They do
Okay.
it just enough, kind of like.
But they leave a little mystery in there too.
Yeah, like how Interplay developed the original Fallout by using just enough scientific terms to ground it in a world that could be believable.
Okay, no, I hear that. I've never seen the film. Have you seen that at all?
No.
If you are going to, I would start with Rise of the Lycans, then do Underworld and Underworld Evolution.
I didn't even know that was an 801. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's I like that. They obviously have a following because they made like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah,
bonus
five
points.
now.
Yeah, you get bonus points, by the way, for the most interesting It's like Interplay's original Fallout. What is Underworld? Okay.
The world. They took the right lessons from that, and I respect it.
Bonus points for that.
Well, cool. No, that's very cool. We gotta go with Spider-Man. Congratulations on your homecoming.
Woo! Yeah, Spider-Man!
Next weekend, so don't worry.
You haven't seen your own movie? What the hell?
Too many people, Secret Identity. But to stick with my strengths, I like Spider-Man 3.
You know what? I'm with you.
I actually don't think. Okay, let me put it this way. It's a bad movie, but I think it's just about as bad as the other two. I don't get this is the one that crossed the line. This one?
I think in 10 seconds.
One that crossed the line was Amazing Spider-Man 2. But as for Spider-Man 3, it's like, okay, for one thing, yes, the first 2 were better, but this one has a lot of good things going for it. I mean, I know the biggest complaint people have is Venom. I thought that was interesting how they tried making him almost a mirror image of Peter Parker, like that Eddie Brock is also strong.
I did kind of pick up on that too, which I know isn't the character. He's usually a lot bigger, but I thought that was kind of the younger guy. They're about the same height. They look similar, and then they're both gonna wear the same suit. And it's kind of like.
And as for everyone else, like Thomas Hayden Church, great choice for Sandman. James Franco, it's James Franco. You get what you pay for.
It's troll level of
At least you don't get Seth Rogen
And as for
in
the
that
dancing
one.
scene, well, Spider-Man 2 had Doc Ock talking to his tentacles. I think we passed the point of it.
Yeah, see, you know, and they never once gave him a back massage.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see, and that is the thing for me. Like, if you show me that as the first Spider-Man movie, I'd be like, okay, this is awful, this is terrible. But because we had those other 2, I finally just went in kind of like Stockholm syndrome. Okay, I'll just accept the madness, accept the corniness. This is just what I'm gonna get. And then that's why everyone's like, this is just too silly. I'm like, why is that the one? I had 2 movies to get used to this, and finally one crosses the line. No, and I'll even take a step further. I'll say that it's the one time I found Mary Jane interesting. I thought she was told for. The scene where Sandman comes to life, I think that's probably the best scene in any of the movies.
Yes.
It's phenomenally done.
I will say that I also really love the design for Venom in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw him, yeah.
Yeah, don't push it, pal.
No, and I'll say as well, I saw it twice to kind of I think I saw all the movies twice. And both times that I saw it, there were 3 moments where everybody gasps. One is when, he's gonna lose the ring. Another is when Franco Mary Jane kiss, and the third is when he hits Mary Jane. All of those got a gasp, and I'm saying to myself, okay, I'm not gonna say this is a great film, but if that got 3 gasps out of the audience, it's doing something right. So I can't say it's a good movie, but I know where you're coming from with that. I think there are good things in it, not as much as the other ones.
I have another reaction that happened with Spider-Man. The moment when he goes upside down and kisses Gwen Stacy the same way he kissed Mary Jane Watson, I look at someone in the audience and be like, oh no.
I just want a Purple Heart for putting up with this, okay? Here, not going off on all of you.
No, but I mean, but there you go. You enjoy the film. You are clearly a Spider-Man fan, and he's a Spider-Man fan too, and they're both really diehard. You get into totally different outlooks on it.
I can't look you in your white soulless eyes, man.
Like I said, it's not Amazing Spider-Man 2, so that's
That's true.
Hey, I like Garfield.
No, you are eligible for statehood. Forget purple heart.
So, cool. Andre, why don't you pick the next one?
Oh yeah, let's go with the V for Vendetta master there.
Armageddon is my favorite film, and everyone yells at me for it.
Really? What'd you like about it?
I don't like.
I know so many people that don't like that film. I mean, even people that like it don't like it.
I
I'm
like
really
the
curious.
characters. I like the way they're done. I like the music at the end, even if it is overdone and cheesy. And I like my favorite scene is when the guy goes, "You get hazard pay," and they go out and they have this whole list of demands. You know, I want a room in the White
I like
House.
that scene too.
And by the way, we never want to pay taxes ever again.
Yeah, no, I like that scene. So you like the comedy. You know it's corny, but it doesn't bother you. Like you like sort of the
I
corny.
can eat the corn all day and fine.
It's good for your intestines, kid. I will say this: the two things I don't like that movie, but there are two things in it that are just flaws: Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare. I want a spin-off movie with just those two characters.
I actually didn't mind the movie too much until, ironically, they got into space and it got way too shaky cam for me. But now that we know the Michael Bay cliches, it is a little tougher to watch it because you can spot them so much easier. Oh, okay, well, remember when this was kind of fresh and new? Yeah, but it is one of those things where it's like, it was a big hit. A lot of people do have it in their DVD library and stuff like that. I mean, you're definitely not alone on that. And no, I think that makes sense. You just sort of enjoy it, enjoy the corniness, you enjoy the comedy and stuff, you just want to have fun with it. No, I think it definitely makes sense.
And it would make a great drinking game.
There you go. Rob, how about you? Why don't you pick someone new?
It's guy way down there in the green shirt.
Yes.
So it's actually three that fit together.
Okay.
My three are favorite movies are Waterworld, Postman, and Open Range.
I'll give you Waterworld.
And you like them, right?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
I have a soft spot for I have a soft spot for both Waterworld and Open Range. I haven't been brave enough to try Postman yet.
Waterworld I kind of enjoy.
Yeah. So, what do you like about them?
I admittedly haven't seen Postman all the way through once.
Let's get that one.
I've seen the whole thing, but I've never seen it all at once. It's something I always
That's the secret.
I don't know, because for no reason, Kevin Costner seems to fit the role. They're trying to make the story. He seems to, basically fit the world they're trying to build around the characters. And I just find the story, entertaining.
Okay, no, that's very cool. Open Range is one of the most gorgeous looking westerns I've ever seen, and it's one of the few films. I remember Costner said, and I'm not a Costner fan, but something he said he wanted a movie a western, where when somebody fires a gun, somebody fires a gun. Like the room shuts up, it echoes, something big happened when somebody fires a gun, so that when it gets to the climax and they're all firing, it's a big deal, and it's suspenseful, because in most westerns, it's just like nothing. It's like saying hi, bam! It just means nothing.
Around when a gun is actually fired.
Yeah, it's
loud. It gets your attention.
I feel like the only other western that ever really dealt with that was probably Unforgiven, where they're talking about even just holding a gun and pointing it, possibly shooting it. I mean, it feels hot, don't it? I mean, it's a big deal. And for me, that movie just never kind of went anywhere for me. That's what bothered me. But I was invested all the way through until the end, and I actually did find it kind of interesting.
Waterworld,
Waterworld's
I kind of appreciate Waterworld because it's one of the last of its type of this big, we're going to build ginormous sets. There's not a whole bunch of CGI in that movie.
Yeah.
It's just, we just blew the money on this.
It's that crappy balloon.
There's so many people, like the world building, probably Mad Max Fury Road was the only movie like it that I can think of since then.
Even Lord of the Rings, a lot of it.
There's a lot of CGI.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very good.
Waterworld, it's there. That is
everything
a world
is there.
created.
So, the other thing is, it's nowhere near as bad as everything. I'm not going to say this is a great movie, but people when it came out, it was just like, everybody was like, it's
one star.
You're never going to see a movie worse than this. It wouldn't even be in my top 200 of worst films. Not even close. It is at worst just a meh movie. at its worst. So I don't get the super hate for it.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you too. I think there's a lot more hate.
I like Waterworld because of Dennis Hopper.
There you go.
Okay, my turn. Let's see. Let's go with someone else. Let's go for Blue Sword.
Are we doing the animated series with this?
Sure. We are now.
All right, then everyone get ready to shame me because I legitimately enjoyed Johnny Test.
I don't know the show, but what do you enjoy about it?
Okay, first off, let me address the elephant in the room with the Dexter's Lab thing. Like everyone says, it's a gender swapped ripoff of Dexter's Lab.
Oh, that's not the problem.
If that was, shouldn't Susan and Mary be the stars and not Johnny?
Oh, I know. Is this one that has like? Oh wait, is this one that has like two redhead girls in it? Okay.
Yeah, that one.
I know what it is, kind of. Okay. I didn't know they had a die-hard hate for it. That's interesting. But okay. So what do you enjoy about it?
The way I see it, it's more of a satire of bad writing in general. I mean, you have Johnny. It's like, yeah, Johnny's the typical jerk protagonist, supposedly hard to go in there somewhere. You have Susan and Mary. Come on, their names are Susan and Mary. Like, literally, Mary Sue.
Like that, yeah.
How about Dookie? I mean, these two in one. The stereotypical talking animal and the sidekick that gets dragged in no matter how much he doesn't want to be in there.
Okay, so your big things that you're saying is very much like a lot of people see as bad writing, but you're saying it's a satire of these kind of cliches and bad writing and stuff like that. You know, what's interesting about that, there was I'm trying to remember what it was, but there was a piece of music that this big composer made at some point, and somebody went up and said, well, was this about these elements, and were you trying to attack this, or trying to do a commentary on this and stuff, and he went, could be. You know, like he didn't
like
want to write, he
Bob
wanted to
Dylan
say whatever you want it to be is great. I have my interpretation, you can have your interpretation, and neither one is wrong. So I think if you do see it as a satire, that could be an interesting commentary. Even if it's like, no, it wasn't meant to be this, doesn't necessarily mean you can't accept it as that. You can see it, as sort of this completely different thing.
Kubrick always says that he would never argue with another person's interpretation of his films, which takes balls of steel, because I have to imagine somebody came up to me and said, I like this Critic episode, I think it endorses the Third Reich. I'd be like, that was not my intent, but that's what you got. That's what you got, then, see how.
Yeah. I very much say Secret Nim is very much about, science versus nature with this unknown element thrown in as well. That's just a three-way battle going on. In the end, all three are needed. Is that the intent? I have no idea, but it can be taken that way, and I love the movie for that. So if you see it that way, you definitely see it that way. If anything, I think it'd be fun if people go back and be like, what if I look at it from this point of view? Like, maybe it would be more fun. There's a lot of bad movies I used to watch, I used to hate, but then when I go in with the idea of have fun with it, it's really enjoyable. When I first saw Darkman, I'm like, this is awful! What a terrible, awful film! And then when I saw it again with the idea, like, oh, it's meant to be kind of stupid and silly, I'm like, this is amazing! I love this film. So, no, that's really cool. Thanks so much. Dad, why don't you pick next one?
Okay, your hand right there.
So, I guess it's a tie between Love Actually and Anastasia. I love those movies so much.
Anastasia, what's the other one?
Love Actually.
Love Actually? Okay.
Both films my wife made me watch.
well, let's just talk about one, because they are kind of different. Which one do you want to talk about?
Anastasia.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is literally...
There was a gorgeous Anastasia walking around yesterday, I've seen a lot of it. Actually, I saw two at this convention, so people still cosplay as her and really enjoy it. You got applause there too, so you're definitely not alone. But what do you enjoy about it?
Probably the music more than anything.
Oh, in the dark of the night.
Come on!
Love that song.
Here's a sign at the end of a line.
It might be really embarrassing, but when I saw the first trailer for the musical that came out on Broadway, and they started playing just the intro music, I literally started tearing.
Aww.
I literally just started. It's like literally not only my childhood. I still watch it to this day. I own the Blu-ray. I pop it in every once in a while. It is the best movie for me.
I'm curious to see the
better. Anastasia is a weird one because every time it's on, I'm actually strangely invested. And somewhere something goes wrong. And I think every time I see it, it's just when the quote-unquote supernatural element comes in, because I'm just like, this was actually a pretty good story. Like, it's a con going on, maybe she really is, and then dark wizard. And it never gelled for me, but I don't know, it's got this weird love-hate thing. Some people either really, really hate it. I don't really, really hate it. And some people really, really love it. I don't either, but it's just somewhere in the middle, and the animation in that film is gorgeous.
It's a movie I want to love, but I can never quite get invested. You're gonna laugh. You know what I really, really enjoyed? The VHS spin-off, Bartok. No, this is old school Don Bluth, just allowed to do whatever he wants, being strange and goofy and odd, and I really adored it. They actually liked it so much, they wanted to release it on the big screen, but Bluth was saying, well, no, this was done for TV. If you put it on the big screen, it's gonna look grainy and it's a mess and stuff like that, so we can only do it this way. But they really liked it too, and it was the one they just totally left him alone on, and it is weird, it's bizarre, but it's just so classic, odd Don Bluth.
I feel like if Bluth had his say on Anastasia and didn't have to worry about pleasing, what was it, Fox that had control of that, I think it would have been a way.
It would have been more interesting.
It would have been more of a master.
It would have just been rest in this movie.
Instead, it's like a very flawed film with like great moments. And, I'm just like, I can see where the greatness is trying to get out.
I feel like he excels more with sort of weird creatures too. And again, I think that's why Bartok was probably better, because I think when you had to do the pretty princess and the dashing hero, it's like, okay, yeah, because of I'll do whatever. But I think when he's doing the weird little mice and the odd cats and the creatures, I think that's sort of where he shines.
Don Bluth doesn't like cats?
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Cool. I'll pick one. Let's do Katie here.
All right, I have one of each. I have one that I love, and one that I hate. The one that I hate. We had a movie night in the 7th grade, and for some reason I chose Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, that you don't like.
I understand.
You thought the kids are scared. It turned into a group therapy session.
It was one of the most boring things I have ever seen in my life. I struggled to stay awake. It's like, and I became pissed when it became like this huge meme. When this stuff became a huge meme, because it's just like, it's not funny. It's just stupid.
All right, now what's the one that you enjoyed that other people wanted?
There's actually two sides to this. One is actually this Matthew McConaughey, Sarah Jessica Parker romantic comedy called Failure to Launch.
You like that one, right?
I do. I mean, when I was in high school, I had a huge crush on this actor, Justin Bartha. You may know him from National Treasure. Mm-hmm. And he's also in that movie, Failure to Launch. And that's why I originally watched it. And it's like, it's the stupidest thing in the world. And it's basically... It's a parody of a romantic comedy, and it knows it's a parody of a romantic comedy.
I never heard that. That's kind of like what I do was saying before about the
It's the Johnny Test of romantic films.
Well, wait, I don't know if we have time for the plot, but we'll get to it.
I'll cliff note it.
Okay.
This 30-year-old guy still lives with his parents, so his parents hire a woman to date him, to get him out.
I remember.
Isn't that prostitution?
Oh!
What she does is she simulates romantic comedy BS. And it pretty much lures the guy out of the house. This is what she does for a living.
That's an interesting idea. Okay.
And it's like, it knows it's a stupid parody. And You know
and
what?
see if he kind of falls for it and stuff.
See,
Yeah.
and
Okay,
they do end up falling for each other and stuff.
I figure.
And,
Yeah. Okay, that's good. We gotta get the other ones here
Well,
too.
the other one is.
Well, hold on. I gotta get the other ones here. Well, we'll just tackle those two. But no, there is something with both of those. Napoleon Dynamite has come up here a lot. That people say, I don't get it, I don't understand why it was a big deal. My wife loves that movie. I did do a panel with John Heater, and she said she would cut him off if I don't get a picture with him. So pretty much, and the nicest guy in the world, by the way. And that is one of those movies I never quite, I guess I understood it, it just never grabbed me. It's not one that was just like, oh, well, this is great, but I see why it caught on. I can easily see why the hype would get people being like, why is this a big deal? Like, why do they get obsessed with it? And the failure to launch, I've never seen it, but like him, going with that mindset that she's going in with these tricks that she's seen from romantic comedy movies, like, that's an interesting angle. Like, I don't think most people seeing that would think this is the angle they're taking.
And it's just like, it's Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica Parker.
The
It's
two
like,
people I can't stand,
like,
so, but yeah. To me, it sounds like
you know going in, even with those two lead actors, it's gonna be crap. Like Terry Bradshaw
Again, going in with the idea, you know it's going to be bad, but it's sort of like the
Bradshaw plays the
satire.
father.
No, I gotcha,
There's a whole nude scene with Terry Bradshaw.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
This to me, it sounds like a prequel to Interstellar. Matthew McConaughey, failure to
I think that Napoleon Dynamite, it falls in that category of movies I think that are popular because frat boys try to do the impressions at parties. Things like that. Austin Powers, Borat. Very nice, groovy baby. Get some ham, Tina. It's like, buddy. Let's make out.
No, that's a good romantic comedy title. That's funny. Let's make out. Dan, why don't you make the next one here?
Okay, the guy sitting next to the girl with the Doug haircut.
The